I'm out here in the garden and been doing lots and lots of work. As you can see, it's changed quite a bit since last time when I gave you an update on the garden railway. So I thought it's probably about time to show you a little bit more. You can see here that the retaining walls are largely finished. They just need to be pointed up with some cement in those gaps there. I did these last because I had a ramp for the wheelbarrow to get up there to dump some soil, so it was hard work for the guy doing it. And you can see here I've actually improvised an awful lot of these. They probably look a bit of a mess, might replace them in later months with proper walling, but a lot of that there is just stuff that's taken from the wall that's being demolished at the front, so I just made good use of them. I also used quite a lot of the topping bricks as was in here, and that's the pillar right at the end. I just managed to knock it off all in one piece, dug a big hole and just put it in there as a pillar, a corner piece. So waste not, want not. I've also moved around some of the trees. That's the pear tree that I planted a couple of years ago, and some juniper bushes. There's a lot of big rocks gone in here. You can see there some of these, they're a bit like icebergs. A lot of their mass is just buried underground, so they might not look as big as they actually are, but trust me, nearly broke the wheelbarrow putting those in. So what we can see over here, this little gully here is where the track's going to come through and over the girder bridge. The girder bridge is going to go across over there at some point. Round there, through here, and there's space at the front for some sidings, things like that. I've bought some points. In fact, actually I've bought an awful lot of track, but it's going to come round here, gaining height as it goes round here, over the bridge here, and then just here I've put too much rubble in. This is from the wall at the front, so some of this is going to get dug back out, because it strikes me that the actual track bed doesn't need to be awfully wide. Do excuse the racket. As soon as I start filming, somebody's just piped up with I think it's music or something, but we've got more juniper bushes, and this, I particularly like this. If somebody could tell me what this actually is, I'd be able to track down some more of it from the garden centre. I think it's some kind of heather, but it is really quite nice, and it's got some good ground coverage, grows quite low, doesn't get any bigger than that. I've had that since we moved in, and it's been moved around twice, seems to be doing just fine. But back up to here, the track's going to come across the bridge, along here, loop round the back of the tree, round the back of this is sort of like a built-up lump. Some rocks there. That rock is surprisingly big, but it just ended up quite buried. Round the back of that stump and there back, so we'll have the figure of 8, which will give some operational interest, and then also space for expansion here at the front with sidings. And ultimately as well, my thoughts are it can be slowly expanded over time. Point up there, another bridge around here, not sure whether it be a level crossing, just like a 90-degree crossing or something here for the track on the level, or alternatively find a way of bridging here. Round the back there's actually a gully, you can't see there, but there's a gully stopping the soil from being on the fence. So we run track back round there and join back up over there, and then that would give a normal oval as well as the figure of 8 without compromising the electricery. So there's expansion options here. Quite pleased with what I got from what I started with. So there's an awful lot of soil in here, and if you remember there were 2 pillars there, and you just see the front one, but the other one's just disappeared into the ground. I've built it up a little bit further than I originally envisaged. It's not a problem. It'll all just help stabilise everything. But yeah, pretty pleased. And I need to actually reseat that. That's the old rail chair that I got from Nantmore Quarry. And I'm trying to remember the railway company. It's a really, really old pre-grouping railway company. And it sort of sunk into the ground. And that's one thing, when I do the concreting of the track bed, I've got to be careful of that. This is, a lot of it is built up again, and I don't want it to settle, so wherever the track's going to go, I've got to tamp the ground down quite substantially before I lay any concrete. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. I'm going to try and get a long shot, so from here you can see it's actually turned out quite nice. It's no longer this sort of little bit of wasteland that it had become with the old garden railway. In fact, it's very difficult to see where the old garden railway ever went, but that brake pillar is original, so's that. So effectively the original garden railway went across there, round here, and pretty much followed where the retaining wall is now. The bridge originally went across, there's one pillar, there's the other, and the bridge went across there. That was kind of the signature piece of the previous railway, and it's going to become a signature piece of the new one, but with O gauge instead. So I've got to do some refurbishment work on it and then test fit it across there. In fact, I'm going to go and find that. Let's go and find the bridge and see if we can test fit it. Now, the shed is something of a mess at the moment. I haven't got the power on, so it's a bit dark in there. But on the floor you can see it's just tools and stuff thrown in. That chair just chucked in after the exhibition at Rainhill. But everything else is still in there. I still have all of this. But you know, you can see there, I did some work upstairs with some insulation, got loads left over, and unfortunately this shed's becoming a little bit of a junk storage area, but I'll sort that out come the new year. But what was I going to show? Oh yeah, that was it. Let's have a look. Just around here is the girder bridge. Oh, excuse me. Oh, it's hard to get in there. You see, I've cut, there was a piece that went across the top there. I've cut that off so that O gauge locos have clearance to get through. Let's just do a bit of a test fit and get a sense of how this is going to go. I've got to build up the other end actually. Bridge is not quite so long as I thought, but it doesn't really matter too much. So that there, I've got to build that up. I do have plans, as I dig out the front, I'm going to try and salvage some bits of stone, clean all this up, and then cement them up, sort of like a gobbed wall with cement in, and it'll give something for one end of this to rest on, and the other end will be resting over here somewhere. In fact, I'm going to have to sort that. It's moved slightly. They're not concreted in, they're just buried in the soil at the moment. But and then this area here, I'm going to have to clear some of this rubble out. I put too much in, got carried away. Although kind of tempted to put in some kind of station or something scenic here. Might have a play around with scenery in the garden. I do like those juniper bushes. They're evergreen, so they stay like that year round, and they grow fairly low, fairly hugging of the ground. What I'm actually going to do is, once all of this ground, once the track's sorted and the ground's all how I want it, I'm going to get some of that chipped bark and spread it out just to keep the weeds down. Otherwise this would just be a sea of weeds by the time the summer comes around if I didn't do anything else. It's a shame I couldn't have buried that stump. It's one of the things that I was trying to do was to remove some of the awkward bits and pieces. Some of the old railway sleepers that were in the ground around there that had been cut off, they've disappeared, buried. These two remained. What I decided was actually they were shoring up the garden, and as I was putting a lot of extra soil here, I didn't want it to push the fence over, so if they were helping to hold this bank up, then I thought I'll leave them be, and they're not bothering me, they're not bothering anybody there. Then we've got the apple tree, the cooking apple tree. It's a pretty good tree, that. We've got a good crop of apples off there. I'm going to bring in the bridge though, because it needs cleaning up and repainting, otherwise it's going to rust. So, oh, wind's getting up, always does when you film outside. So there we have it. Progress on the garden railway. I'm going to be doing some more work on this, so it will change again, and hopefully next time I do an update I might just be in a position to have some track down, so that'll be good. Looking forward to that. The track is arriving, well, most of it tomorrow. It's due for delivery. I got a job lot of Pico 1 yard lengths. They're second hand but still sealed in the box, and they will do most of what I need. I bought some points as well, and hopefully it should be enough track to do all this along with the track that I've already got. So until next time, I'll see you later. You take very good care of yourself. Don't forget to like this video, share it too, and if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel. But until next time, you take very good care of yourself. This is me, Jenny Kirk, saying bye for now. Today's video has been brought to you in part thanks to the generous donation of my fans on Patreon. And a special huge thanks goes out to Anthony Kidson, Mark Anthony, Michael Churchwood, Mark McShane and Bob 310. If you'd like to help support the show, head on over to patreon.com/Jennifer Kirk. Thank you. Today's video has been brought to you by my books, Bringing Home the Stars, Twinkle Little Star, and also you can get the complete comic collections of All Over the House, Books 1, Books 2, and also the wacky zany Life of Knobty Mouse. Thanks, and catch you later.